Hey, welcome back, folks. So before the break, Shelly, you were talking to us about what smart companies are doing to retain talent. And one thing you said is that retention goes up dramatically if onboarding starts before the first day. And can you explain what that would look like?
Absolutely. So there's a term for it. It's called pre-boarding.
Okay.
And companies see that they're able to hang on to that their retention doubles in their first year if they're able to actually get the folks, that are coming before they start their first day, kind of say, we're excited about you coming. Here's someone that we're going to pair you up with. Be looking, this person will be looking for you. So really make them feel welcome before they even step on property that first day. If the turnover is 40%, you lose 40% of your first year employees in the first year. The most dramatic time where you lose that is in the first 90 days.
Right.
So the smart companies are saying, what can we do in those first 90 days? And one tactic is actually getting them comfortable with your company before they even walk on property.
Right. So it doesn't take that much, but to have a plan in place where in so many words you're saying, hey, we're glad you're going to be here. John Doe is going to be watching for you for the first day. He'll lead you around, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely, and you hear the horror stories of, especially in training management skills, of, hey, tell us a bad example of what you've seen in management through your career.
Yeah.
One of the stories that almost everyone have is, well, I showed up, I didn't know where to go, and they didn't even have a desk ready for me. I ended up getting a computer on day 3.
Yeah.
I knew where to sit, on day 4. So you're really kind of cutting that whole stuff out by having this plan in place.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah,
make you feel important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So what are the 3 biggest reasons you see companies of any size fail in retaining top talent?
Well, I think the biggest reason I see companies fail is they're so top-line oriented and sales oriented, of saying we need to meet this revenue, and that's what they're focused on, and they don't take the time to see that they have expenses flowing out from turnover, and really form a strategy around that. So I think actually just taking the time to say, hey, we do have a problem, and you'll hear things such as, my payroll is killing me, my numbers are out of whack. No matter how many sales I make, I'm still not at the margins I need to be because of my payroll, and that's because to replace a frontline employee, it costs about 50% of their annual salary. A mid-level manager costs about 125% of their salary to replace them. So these are huge costs associated with turnover. So a company not taking the time to formulate plans around those expenses is one. Probably the second one would be communication. You see companies where communication, you'll have an initiative from the CEO. It never makes it down to your frontline folks or your frontline supervisors, and there's just the communication is being missed somewhere in the chain. Things are promised from a higher level. They never make it down to the folks that are really doing the blocking and tackling for the company. And probably a third would be just, communication. They just don't have a plan in place, really.
Yeah. One thing, Shelly, that never ceases to amaze me is the extent to which companies don't realize we have software and we have computers and we have all this stuff, but nothing gets done without people. People are what get stuff done.
Right.
And companies don't realize that, and so they're focused on the top line or whatever. I don't know how, well, yeah, you certainly deal with engagement with what you're doing now. Engagement is very low.
Absolutely.
And why companies don't realize that and take more action?
Well, and I just blanked on my third point. My third point was they'll have unintended culture has developed. And
Yeah.
as we know, and you've worked in any business, you know there's a culture, whether it's intentional or it's unintentional. There's a culture. So high turnover comes from also unintentional cultures being built, and you know that high level, this is who we are and this is what we're doing, the culture doesn't represent that.
Right.
And that is because, again, the communication has been lost.
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty common that the claimed culture is, you know, respect for the individual and this and that and the other, and it's anything but.
It's anything but, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that comes from training folks on how to communicate and conflict resolution and how to be nice to your coworkers.
Yeah. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back, ladies and gents.
All right.
Okay.